Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I put an EAG bumper here on my Jeep a couple years ago, and I just never got around to hooking up the fog lights that are in the bumper down there, if you can see them. Yeah, so we're going to do that today, and it came with the harness, and it's right here. So it's got the this is the relay, and it came with an inline fuse and all that. So we're going to run that today, and I'm just going to show people how to do that. And you can also make your own harness here too if you buy your own lights. So you just got to read the voltage and amperage requirements for the lights that you buy, and then get the correct gauge of wire, and you could do that yourself. You know, you have a power wire here, you know, that'll come straight off the battery, and then you can buy these inline fuse kits. So you could put the power wire in there, and then run another one out that'll go into the relay. So there's ways that you can make your own harness. A lot of times the lights will come with these, which is pretty convenient. So this one came with the bumper, so we're going to go through this, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. Okay, first things first, you have to disconnect the negative cable off the battery, because anytime you're working on anything electrical or the electronics in a vehicle, disconnect that so that you won't have any voltage, get zapped on something or fry something. So yeah, this is a 1/2 inch on mine, but just loosen that up a little bit. It just depends on the cables, what size wrench you'll need. But like on my Suburban, I think it's a 3/8 or something like that. It might be, yeah, I can't remember exactly. But yeah, disconnect that cable, and then over here on the circuit breakers for the winch, we're gonna hook up our power for our lights to there, and then we'll mount the relay here on the fender somewhere, a good metal body ground there, and then we're going to drop those wires with the plugs right down there along where I got my winch cables going through, the winch wires going down there, and then I'll plug those up, and I'll zip tie them all the way across to the other plug down here, and then I'll tuck them up, and then we'll go from there. Okay, yeah, this wiring harness here, it came with a switch that'll you can mount with some adhesive on the back. You can mount it to the dash somewhere. So we're going to have to go through the firewall with this. So I'm going to disconnect this and get it ran through, and then we'll go through that part, going through the firewall and running this wire and then attaching that. Or if you don't like this switch, it's just a button press, and it has indicator lights on it too that tell you when the lights are on and off. But if you just want to do a toggle switch or whatever, you could cut this wire, and then wire in your own little toggle switch or whatever you want. So just wanted to let you all know that. So I'm going to feed this through the firewall, then I'll plug this in on the other side. Okay, like I was saying earlier, down there where my power wire and negative wire for the winch, I'm going to fish the plugs down through that opening there where those wires are going through, so it goes underneath, and then you can see them coming out under here, and I'm going to run them all the way across along with those wires in that loom right there. Run that one all the way across under here, and then I'm going to drop it out here, and then we can use the plug to the light and just plug it in, and then we can zip tie it up there. And then I'll just plug this one in to this other side of that little pigtail there, and then we'll just zip tie it up here out of the way so it won't get snagged. Okay, I've got the wire for the plugs down here fished through here. This is the short wire that's closest to where you're fishing it down, and then under here, as you can see, I got the zip ties there. So I zip tied it there. I ran it along that loom. I zip tied it there. And I got that one coming out here. Okay, like I was saying earlier, this is a body ground going to the negative cable. That's a 3/8 bolt that's connecting it to the body. So I'm going to mount the relay there along with the ground on the relay. And also, before you connect any wires, it's also a good idea to remove this fuse from this fuse box here, just to be safe. And that way, once you get everything connected, put that fuse in very last thing. So if that fuse blows, you know you have something wrong. But that's always another good precaution. So I'm going to take that bolt right here out, and there we go. Since it's already a good ground, I'm just going to use it for our ground and to hang the relay. So we'll leave that against there, and I'll put that between there, and there we go. That way. All right. So we can put that on there, and then that should fit right through there. Yep, it's going to work out pretty good, because then the screw itself will work as a ground, and I want to put these two grounds together to ensure a good ground connection. So I want to get back down in here with those. Oop, touch the cable, so I don't have anything plugged in yet. That's why it's a good idea to do all that first. So, okay, I got that started. So now I'm going to have to get this ground wire here. Yeah, there's a tight squeeze here. I can't hardly get my hand in there. But, going to, there we go. Put this back behind the original ground there. All right, I'll get my wrench back, and then I will tighten that up. All right, that's good. Turn it one more time. All right, that's good and tight. So is this ground here, and then that is stationary. And what I did was I pulled this plug out of this relay, and I put a little dielectric grease on the plug and plugged it back in. And we're going to do the same on the plugs down on the lights themselves. Okay, after I mounted the relay and got that ground over there, the pigtail side of the harness that goes to the switch that we're going to mount inside, I just routed those wires around the edge here. I'm going to zip tie it to the engine wiring harness there, keep that good and tight. And then we have another power that's going to power the light indicator on the switch, also that tells you whether the lights are on and off. So, and there's also another ground over there for that switch, but I'm going to put it on a fender screw over there for another body ground. So I'm going to end up having both of these here on the battery cable. So the way I'm hooking that up is it's a direct connect to the battery, so those lights will come on whether the ignition's on or not. Now, if you want to, you can find a fuse slot somewhere in the fuse box down there for this red wire to hook into on something that only receives power when the ignition's turned on, and or however you want to do it. They do make some little fuse holders that look like a fuse, so you can pull the fuse out for whatever you use in the fuse box, and then you can put the fuse holder in there, then put that other fuse back into there, so that whatever slot you're using is still got the fuse in it, and then you can okay, I have that relay mounted over there, and then I have routed this the rest of the pigtail around here. I'm going to end up cleaning that up and tucking that and zip tying that around. But I ran the other power button back this way, and I ran it inside this loom here for this overflow, and it's just going to connect right here to the positive cable. Then I have that second power wire. So what I'm going to do, how I'm going to tap into the firewall, is there is that rubber boot right here. That's where the wiring harness goes into the firewall. So my next step here is I'm going to take, let's turn this light on here, this panel off right here, and it's got 3 screws underneath on the bottom. And the beauty about these old XJs is they're hex head, but they're also Phillips. So a Phillips screwdriver will take all that out. So you take these 3 screws out, and then there's a couple of tabs that snap in on this side. So you just lightly pull out on that and it'll snap out. Then there's a metal plate underneath this that'll have a screw in this side, then 1 screw in this side, and then there's a couple of tabs that'll slip into a couple of slots here, and then it'll just fold down and you can pull it off, and then you have access underneath there. This is that metal plate I was talking about that's underneath this plastic piece, and that's where the snaps in right there. But then on each side there's a screw there and a screw there. All of these screws in the dash, even over on the glove box, they're all the same type of screw. So you don't really have to keep these screws separated, because you just pile them up and then just make sure that you don't lose any, and then you just put them all in. So that's nice. It's not like working on an engine where you got to keep certain bolts separated. But then underneath here, if you can see, it's got a couple of tabs there. See those little slots? The tabs on the bottom of that right there and right there, and then that just pops right out. Right there is that metal, or that rubber boot I was telling you about. Right there. And what I did up here was I put a little slice in the top of that with my box cutter here. Just make sure that you're above the wire good, and don't just stick the whole blade in it. Just stick the very tip of it in there, and just very shallowly, just the thickness of that rubber, and make a slice. And what I'm going to do is now I'm going to get this is an old coat hanger, any type of wire or anything, you can just poke it through that hole, and then on the other side I'm going to tape that plug that goes to the switch that I'm going to plug into under here, and then I'm going to route it under here and then stick it to the dash. I'm going to tape it to that, and then I'm going to pull it through. Okay, that worked. I got that wire pulled through. Okay, wire just came out. But yeah, I got that pulled through. I'm going to peel that tape off, then I'll plug in the switch, and then I'll get it routed. Okay, that switch here, I've got it tucked in the dash right there because I want it to be mounted right here, so it's easy to get to. So I ran it through here, and then I'm running it underneath here through there, and then it will go back down in there, and I'll plug it into that plug back there where we pulled it through the firewall. Okay, I got my switch mounted right where I want it, and that adhesive is really strong, so I've got that wire tucked back there, and then I routed it underneath like I showed you right through there, and then we've got it plugged in right there. Okay, now I have the wiring ran back, and got a zip tie here, have another one right there, and another one over there, and it's just zip tied back. It's not going to move. It's going along the harness, so it should be away from any extreme heat or anything like that. And then right over here is the bolt here right next to the washer fluid there. I'm going to, and that is a 5/16. So I'm going to remove this bolt, and that's going to be the other ground. And the way that these connectors are, it's kind of like a fork. So if you just loosen that up, you can loosen it up enough, you'll be able to just slide that behind there. There we go. Now that's slid behind there. Just keep, then you just tighten that down. And that should be a good body ground. Okay, and then make sure and tug on it a little bit. So I'm going to clip all these off, and now the next thing is we will hook up our power right there. And then we'll get those two connected, and then we can put the fuse in, and we'll see if they work. Okay, now I'm going to hook up the connections to the lights and from the wiring harness here. It's always a good idea to put some dielectric grease on your connections there. So this is a snap clip. This is the weather seal plug combination. You should always, if you're going to wire in your own plugs, find these from your auto parts store or hardware store or whatever. These are the best to use for any application that'll be exposed to the elements. But just look for the clip right there, and then you just match them up. And these are a little hard to snap together, but you'll feel the clip, and then it'll snap up together. So we'll do the same on the other side. Okay, it looks like we have everything connected except for the negative cable and then our fuse. So I'm going to hook up the negative cable first, and then I will tighten that down. You don't need to tighten that down too awful. Oh, it's a 1/2 inch. You don't need to tighten these battery terminals down too tight. You know, just get them good and snug, because there we go. You could strip them out pretty easy, but that's really good and snug. So now we will put in our fuse, and that's a 30 amp fuse that came with it. So we will put the fuse in, and now we have lights. So we'll go around, we will hit the switch, and see, that tells you that the lights are on, and then when you do that, it'll tell you that the lights are off. So that should have turned the lights off, and it did. So this was a success. That's how you wire up any lights that you want extra on your vehicle. So we'll hit that button again. Check it one more time. Yep, as you can see there. Now they work. That is awesome. Well, I appreciate you all watching. If you like this content, yeah, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. And I've got more content coming, so I do greatly appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you soon. Until next time.